Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, we got some Terence Bud Crawford news popping off, right? Terence Bud Crawford's, been much maligned of late. You hear about him. He's one of the biggest ducks of all time because him and the Errol Spence fight didn't seem to happen, but I remind you, duck of all time, I can just think of one right now, Canelo versus Andrade for 40 million guaranteed, right? And undisputed as well in the 160-pound division, where it was only two divisions, Canelo Alvarez's second division. This is Bud Crawford's third division, which if he was scared of Spence, which I don't know where that came out of the blue, then so be it. We got it going around all around boxing right now. But that's not what we said. The point is, Bud Crawford's going to fight Avanesyan, right? He's going to fight Avanesyan on December the 10th. And, everybody was like, he's got out of the negotiations with Errol Spence. And, what he going to do? He's supposed to be getting $10 million or more. But where's that money from and all that stuff? Well, comes to find out that Bud is already paid. Half the money's already paid, right? So he's good to go. He's get the other half before the fight starts. So we're good to go. That means for all those who ask him to get away from Bob Arum because he's not getting paid or he's not being treated right, hey, first fight, when he gets, his own promoter, then things happen like that. That's a good thing, right? Don't you think? Right? And, another thing too. Bud Crawford, right, we know that Manny Pacquiao fight couldn't happen for him. Why he was at Bob Arum. He should have been at Bob Arum trying to get the Manny Pacquiao fight, because if he would have fought Pacquiao and beat Pacquiao convincingly, which we all think, everybody in boxing, hence everybody's scared of Pacquiao's well-being. Nobody wanted Pacquiao to fight him, including Bob Arum, Freddie Roach, his trainer, the pundits with Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith and all that. Everybody's worrying about his well-being when talking about Crawford. I still think that people should have at least said this, because you've never heard somebody say this. It seems like it's almost blasphemous. Hey, Errol Spence, the man's #1 pound for pound, coming up his third weight division. He's beat everybody in welterweight. He's been undisputed. Damn it, get him 50-50. Right? Errol Spence, go on, get him 50-50. Let's stop all this stuff and all this negotiating and all that. But it's kind of similar. Right? No one would tell Anthony Joshua that with Deontay Wilder either. Right? No one would tell Canelo Alvarez that with Demetrius Andrade either. You know what I mean? No one would tell Kambosos or Teofimo Lopez or anybody to do that with Devin Haney either. Just, hey, get this little dude who everybody seems to be awesome. Get him out the way. Just 50-50. Let's go and move on. Right? That didn't happen either. Bud Crawford has to take less and no guarantees and whatever else it is just to get the fight. It's a hard pill to swallow, which I wouldn't have swallowed if Terence Crawford, I'm just saying, if I was Terence Crawford, just be like, you're insulting royalty. I'm boxing royalty because I made 1 pound for pound and I've been undisputed before, right? Who I fought and all this, if everybody's going to, say that these guys that I beat in the welterweight division, most of them undefeated, most of them damn middleweights. Jeff Horn is a middleweight. Sean Porter is a middleweight. Kell Brook is a middleweight. Jose Benavidez is a middleweight. They all got knocked the hell out. Or, hey, maybe a junior middleweight. But all of them are huge, and they, boil down and get down, right, to that weight of welterweight, and we know it, right? They all got knocked the hell out. If that doesn't mean nothing, my undisputed don't mean nothing. All these fighters I'm fighting that, but I probably wasn't even really, barely like the favorite. People forced me to fight Sean Porter, which didn't mean anything, but I did it, right? Kell Brook was huge. People didn't even think I was going to beat Victor Postal, which people try to forget about. So, there was a lot of things right there, going on. And but it's a couple of other things that I think is very important, right, that we got to think about. Bud Crawford didn't even want a rematch clause with Errol Spence. That seems to be their team. It's according to Bud Crawford. Not a rematch clause against Errol Spence. You're both champions. A rematch clause, who doesn't? You know, who don't want a rematch clause? Look at Anthony Joshua, the champion. I'm going to give me some rematch clause. Canelo Alvarez. It's going to be some rematch clause just in case something go down. Cambosa's got one. You know, rematch clause. A lot of people. But to go into a fight with an Errol Spence and not want a rematch clause, that's huge. You know, I'm just saying, people, that is some huge things. So, you know, when it comes to this, I'm just saying this. You know, my man, Terence Crawford, is already getting paid, which is good, you know, because I'm seeing some stuff where, you know, he's supposed to not be having some money, and another fighter talking to him, but the other fighter I like too, so I ain't saying his name because I'm not going to be, you know, under that little beef between fighters, and we like them all, and I don't like to roll like that. There's enough of that going on out there. There's enough of social media going on. Most of these guys are royalty. I know I would say Terence Crawford would be even boxing royalty. That's even better than a great fighter. Terence Crawford's one of the very best we've ever seen, and willing to prove it. So we can let him fight a David Avanesyan. Here's the thing about this video. To Terence Crawford, focus on David Avanesyan, because Terence Crawford has talked more than he has before, because he's has his own promoter now. He's being interviewed in a lot of these shows and podcasts and stuff, and talking and telling what really happened or whatever, his point of view, and everybody can misconstrue it. That's why Al Heyman doesn't talk. You see what I'm saying? Because Al Heyman understands, I'm not talking, right? People wasn't talking to people, some kind of other people. But you can't talk to nobody, it seems. Because no matter what Crawford says, it can be misconstrued, turned around, and it's never seen positive by most of the people, which is, I don't understand why. It's like the Twilight Zone to me, but whatever. I think Terence Crawford needs to really focus on David Avanesyan, because don't let these people tell you that this guy is not a formidable opponent, right? The guy's a formidable opponent. He believes in himself, and he has reason to believe in himself. Terence Crawford, with these other things that he doesn't normally deal with, you know, he doesn't normally deal with backlash because of, you know, promoters deal with backlash all the time, right? But he hasn't had to deal with that. He's mild-mannered, very quiet. They're forcing this out of him, a la Savannah Marshall with the lead up to Clarissa Shields. She doesn't really like to do that. She's out of her element, did pretty good. Terence Crawford's out of his element with this part. This is not what he wants to do. And what it can mess around is focus, because the reason why, you know, Terence is so good is because he's disciplined and focused. And Avanesyan is what they call a banana peel type match. You could be looking for something else and slip on this. Focus on Avanesyan, get paid, and then get back to the, you know, to the negotiating table, and then we can give us that fight. And I hope it happens eventually. Let's see what happens going forward. Focus on Avanesyan. That's the point here. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm about here, y'all.